When it comes to mystery games, environmental interactables and how we convey their interactable nature to the player is as important as the game itself. Not just in mystery games, but every game in general that have the ability to interact with the environment needs to convey this one way or another to the player. Of course, there is no one best way to implement it. Every game needs to think about their implementations depending on what their focus is. It's the focus that decides how in your face or how hidden the interactable conveying gonna be. For that, let's look at some of the examples and their positives and their negatives. First, I want to start with in your face kind of interactable convey. For that, we first look at Crazy Taxi. As you can see, in this game, every interactable in the environment shines with a big circle on it. This is because game's focus is being arcadey. In an arcadey game, it's important to convey interactables to the player directly, so game doesn't slow down with players stopping to identify interactables. This is its positive part. But also this results with clutter in the screen with too many flashy parts even without taking UI into account. As an arcadey game, it works in its favor and it also feels more energized. But if our focus is having a clean screen, then we need to look at other approaches. So, then, let's look at another example. This time, we are gonna look at minimal kind of interactable convey. For that, I want to look at Demon's Souls. Yes, that game. In Demon's Souls, or in every From Software's Souls game to be exact, some interactable objects have slightly shining light on them and other interactable objects have button prompts to show their interactability. Their purpose is giving the necessary information to the player, but also clearing the busy work of predicting what is interactable and what is not. Because of the realistic environments, interactable clarity disappears. So with this way, we can still continue to show what is interactable and what isn't without too much clutter in the screen. As for the negatives, it's the mid option between all of them. It doesn't provide every information with an energized way like a in-your-face option, nor it doesn't remove all of the clutter like the almost none option. But its focus is only giving the necessary information, so it works at what it can as much as possible with staying in the limit of not getting in your way. There are also other examples I can give about minimalism like minimap, supervision that makes the interactable objects shine, etc. But I am not fond of minimap because it takes from exploration in my opinion, and I am not fond of supervisions because they destroy the colors of the game. So I didn't include them. But now, the next question is it possible to remove the clutter in the screen completely, but still be able to give the necessary information? For that, we will look on another example. The Resident Evil 1 remake. When it comes to minimalism to the point of almost none philosophy, Resident Evil is one of the prime examples. Most of the titles that uses the same philosophy are 2D point-and-click games. Resident Evil Remake works similar to point-and-click systems. The type of discovery that it's impossible to understand what is interactable or not without touching them with the interact button. Because of that, this system have lots of negatives, such as it doesn't give enough information to the player that if that interactable gonna benefit them or not, and it doesn't tell if you're engaged with the object you desire to interact in the environment clearly. So, because of that, this system is rarely used in most of the games. But there are ways to make this system a little bit clearer without adding anything to screen. Resident Evil uses fixed cameras with angles that shows every environment part clearly and colored maps that shows if the map completed or not, for example. But does it worth the headache? This again depending on your focus. If you want players to be away from the game feeling as much as possible, then keeping the screen clean completely is the best possible option for it. So it still depends on what game you want to create. So, as you can see, there are a lot of ways to go about it when it comes to conveying what is interactable and what is not to the player. But when it comes to its implementation, like I said, focus is the key. So everything revolves around the question of what you really want to convey in your game. Now, I want to talk about my development updates. Since that last video, I added more functions, more rooms, and fixed a lot bugs in my mystery game. Most of my time spent with clearing those bugs, so, because of that, this video delayed a bit. This time, I want to talk about how I implemented interaction to my game. My focus is, I want exploration part to be clean as much as possible. Because, even if my game uses first-person camera, it's still a point-and-click game in its core, and finding suspicious objects in the environment is part of the challenge. But I also don't want it to be too vague, so I put a pointer in the screen in a separate layer for interactable objects. When pointer finds that layer, it changes its color to red to signify what we are looking at is interactable. Now, for the interaction part, there is two ways to go about it. First is left-clicking on it starts a default interaction that checks that object's id and gets the necessary dialogues for it. But if we select a different object from the inventory and right-click on an object, this time game checks both of their ids and gets the dialogues if there is one. This system's still in its development state and things can change depending on my planning on challenges or finding new ideas to implement a better interaction systems. This is my first PC game, also I work solo as of now, so there is no way for me to predict what is gonna happen, but I am happy that the system currently I implemented works like I imagined. So I wanted to give its part in the video. As of next, I am thinking of creating a video about analysis about the dialogue systems and dialogue-based challenges. But for that, I need to modify a bit more of my dialogue system and look more examples to decide how I want to approach for implementing it. Until then, thanks for watching and hopefully, see you later.